do you trust? Fellow believers, relatives, your mom and dad? Many of those closest to us do love us, and they are ready to help us when we need it. But let's think for a minute as to whether we can really trust ourselves in difficult situations. Even the world clearly understands we aren't that trustworthy. Theoretical physicist Richard Feynman said, "You must not fool yourself, and you're the easiest person to fool." David Brooks, a New York Times columnist, he wrote that the vast majority of us have very little understanding of why we make the choices we do, and that we're influenced instead by peer pressure, emotions, and a desire for admiration and status. Barney Rubble of Flintstones fame put it most simply when he said, "It takes a smart man to know he's stupid." Well, that's enough of earthly man. Let's seek godly wisdom by reading Proverbs chapter 3 and verse 5. Then we'll look at a few examples of those who well illustrate the wisdom found there. That's Proverbs chapter 3 and verse 5. Which reads, "Trust in Jehovah with all your heart, and do not lean upon your own understanding." When Jesus was under trial, he resolutely refused to lean on his own understanding. Think of it. The wisest man ever to live on earth chose not to draw on his own wisdom for answers. For instance, when Satan tempted him, Jesus repeatedly answered with the phrase, "It is written." He relied on his Father's wisdom to ward off temptation, showing the humility that Satan despises and utterly lacks. A recent Watchtower expressed that when we face hardships, we need Jesus' example more than ever. Under trial, we may forget a vital truth, one so important that the book of Proverbs repeated it twice. There exists a way that is upright before a man, but the ways of death are the end of it afterward. If we rely on our own thinking, especially when we face serious problems, we are likely to endanger ourselves and those we love. Trusting in Jehovah with a complete heart involves doing things His way, according to His will. To do this, we must continually approach Him in prayer and make heartfelt requests for His guidance. Well, King Hezekiah of Judah kept sticking to Jehovah. He did not turn aside from following Him, but continued keeping His commandments. How did Hezekiah respond when King Sennacherib of Assyria sent his representatives to Jerusalem along with a really large military force? The powerful Assyrian army had already seized a number of fortified cities of Judah, and Sennacherib had now set his eyes on Jerusalem. Well, what happened? Hezekiah went to the house of Jehovah and began praying. He prayed, "O Jehovah our God, save us please out of his hand, that all the kingdoms of the earth may know that you, O Jehovah, are God alone." Or rather than lean on his own understanding, Hezekiah trusted in Jehovah. After Jehovah's angel struck down 185,000 of Sennacherib's men, the king of Assyria pulled away and he returned to Nineveh. That was a difficult situation until Jehovah took charge. What should we do when confronted with situations that may seem easy to resolve? King David provides some insight on that question. When the Amalekites raided the city of Ziklag, they carried off David's wives and children. David prayed to Jehovah, saying, "Shall I chase after this marauder band?" Jehovah replied, "Go and chase, for you will without fail overtake them, and you will without fail make a deliverance." David complied, and he got to deliver all that the Amalekites had stolen. 2 more times the Philistines came up against Israel and David. The 3rd time, David could have reasoned, "Well, I know exactly what to do in this situation. I've been here before." But he did not rely on his past experiences. He again went to Jehovah in prayer. How glad he must have been, too, that he did, because the instructions he received this time completely different. How do we trust in Jehovah when it comes to resisting temptations? Having sin's law within our members, we need to put up a strong fight against sinful inclinations. This is a fight that can be won. How? Jesus told his followers that prayer is vital in resisting temptation. Even if wrong desires or thoughts persist after we have prayed to God, we need to keep on asking God for wisdom to cope with these trials. We are assured that He gives generously to all and without reproach. So whether we are dealing with a difficult situation, making a weighty decision, or trying to resist temptation, let us trust in Jehovah and not lean on our own understanding.